Hello and welcome again to our video. This video is the second video of our course, the Medical Devices in Home Care training course. In the previous video, we talked about the classification of medical devices, the definition of medical device, and the differences between the normal patient and the home care patient. In this video, we are going to move forward and talk about the type of medical devices used for home care patient. We can classify them into groups like the monitoring device, the respiratory devices, the wound care devices, infusion therapy devices, and tracheostomy care devices. Of course, we can add more devices to these groups, but I prefer just to make them like this to make the work easier for us. We can add, for example, the helpers, which is, for example, the combo chair, the wheelchair, the medical bed, the patient lifter, and the walker, for example. Let's start with the monitoring devices. We use these devices in general, the monitoring devices, as we learned from the previous video, just to monitor the vital sign of the patient, because it's very important just to monitor the heart rate, the pulse, the pulse oximeter, for example, the pressure, the blood pressure, and the sugar level, the temperature of the patient. All of these called the vital signs, and it's very important for us just to monitor them, just to take an action to help our patient, and also just to make the healing period as faster as we can, or just to monitor the patient. The blood pressure monitors, or the PPs, we are using it just to monitor the blood pressure, and it's very important with the patient with hypertension or heart diseases. We have different kinds of blood pressures. We have the old, and I'm not seeing them anymore. The old devices of blood pressure with those are manuals and uses mercury. And we have the upper arm monitors, the digital one. We have the rest monitors, also digital, and we have the ambulatory blood pressure monitors, or the PPM. Those devices used for some cases, not for all home care patients. Okay, but we use it for some cases, and those are decided by the doctor. So the first picture shows us here the old version of PP monitors. We have the cuff here, and we have the manual pump. This one is the arm type. We have the cuff here, and we have the machine itself. This one the wrist type, and this one the APPM. The second type of devices, which is the thermometers. The thermometer used to measure the body temperature, and it's very important, especially for pediatric patient. We use it to detect if there's a fever or infection in the patient. The most common type of thermometer used in home care, which is the infrared thermometers. We have a device, okay, and uses infrared just to detect the patient's temperature from the ear or from the forehead. Okay, we have display screen here. We have the buttons, and we have the probe cover also. It's very important, as I said, to take the patient's temperature and record it to the patient's log. The third kind of devices, which is the pulse oximeters. Pulse oximeter, we use it to measure the blood oxygen levels, and commonly used for patients with respiratory issues like asthma and COPD. Okay, we have two types of them used in home care. The fingertip, okay, like this. Most of them are Chinese, and we have this one, which is handheld pulse oximeter. This one is more accurate than this, okay, and contains, of course, battery. And here we can record the readings of the patients, and we can make a graph. We can make more options comparing to this one. Okay, this one is very simple, and the accuracy of this one is less than this one. We have another one which is used in ICUs, like a different, a separate device. Okay, the main unit will be bigger, and we will put it on a stand. Sometimes we use it in a home care, but the most common two types, which is fingerprint for simple cases, and this one for the more sophisticated cases. We have the glucometers. The glucometers, we use it for monitoring blood sugar levels, essential for diabetic patients. It's very important. The working principle of this process contains three things, which is the glucometer itself, the strips, and the lancet. Okay, the lancet we use it just to take the blood from the tip of the finger, and we have the strips here. On these strips we have the annulate and we have the bioreceptor. Okay, when the glucose bind to this material on the strips, we are going to get an electrical signal like this. We are going to take it directly to the processing unit and display it on the screen. It's very important to monitor the blood sugar level of the patient, especially as we say it for the diabetics one. And maybe it's very important also for the patient after taking, for example, some kind of nutritions or some kind of medications. We are going to talk about that later. We have also the ECG. Okay, the ECG we use to record the electrical activity of the heart and monitor conditions like arrhythmias and heart diseases. As you can see, we have 6 electrodes here. We have 2 electrodes, 2 on the each arms, and we have here 2 also. Sometimes it's important for the home care just to monitor the ECG, not in a continuous way like the hospital, but for example every few days just take the ECG and tell the doctors and share the information with the doctor. In some cases, it's better for us just to use a vital sign monitors. Okay, it's instead of using separate devices like the pulse oximeter, the PB, the thermometer. I think it's better just to use a vital sign monitor. Especially nowadays, we have a lot of options, cheap options with high accuracy. Okay. This one, for example, we can see it on the screen. We have the thermometer, we have the PB, we have also the pulse oximeter device, and we can see here we can record it, we can transfer it through the internet, we can print it in some cases, and some of them we can continue ECG probes also at the same time, but of course it will be more expensive. So in some cases, using vital sign monitor, it will be better than use separate devices, especially if we are going, for example, we have a patient with a chronic condition and we will monitor him for a very long time. The second group of devices used in home care, after talking about the monitoring devices, those are the respiratory home care devices. We use this just to help or assist the patient while breathing or to give him more oxygen levels. The simplest idea of delivering oxygen to the patient, which is the oxygen cylinder, we use it just to assist the patient with the some difficulties in breathing. Okay, and this system is very simple. Contains of oxygen cylinder, contains, for example, 10 liters, 5 liters of oxygen. We have the regulator. We are going to bind it to the oxygen cylinder, and we are going to take the oxygen and continue. And we can also control the flow rate from this, and take the oxygen to a humidifier. And after that, we are going to bind a nasal cannula to this end and give it to a patient. This system is very simple, and we use it for example, for a patient who needs some oxygen after during the recovery after a procedure or an operation. But for the most complicated cases, we can use the oxygen concentrators. Okay, here we use it to deliver a continuous flow of oxygen to a patient with low oxygen level in their blood, often used of those with COPD or heart failure. Of course, and when we are going to talk about respiratory assist devices, the pulse oximeter will be as a condition. We can't use one of them. We can't use, for example, the oxygen cylinder or oxygen concentrator without using the pulse oximeter. It's very important because we need to see the oxygen saturation level in patient's blood. So this oxygen concentrator used for more sophisticated patients. Okay, they need, for example, they need a continuous delivery of oxygen. In these kind of devices, comparing to the oxygen cylinder may be finished after a few days or few hours, but this one will deliver you the oxygen in a continuous way. And there is no need to put anything else or of these devices, and it comes with different flow rate. For example, 5 liters or 10 liters. Here we can see it's 5 liters. Here we have the flow rate, okay, that we can control the flow rate through this flow meter, and after that the output oxygen will go to the humidifier, and from the humidifier we are going to bind it to a nasal cannula or a face mask. The working principle of this device like this. This device has a compressor inside it. We will take the oxygen. We will take the air from the room of the patient. Okay, and as we know, it contains 20% oxygen and 80% nitrogen. We are going to take the air through the compressor. The compressor. We have something we call a CPAT. We are going to talk in details about the oxygen concentrator in a different and separate course, and after that we are going to have an oxygen tank. Here we have some filters also, and here we have the oxygen outlet that we saw it. The purity of oxygen will be between 90 to 95%, and in some devices the purity of oxygen will differ according to the flow rate. Okay. As you can see, we are going to take the oxygen from here to the humidifier, and this picture here contacted to the humidifier. From humidifier we are going to deliver that to the patient. These devices need some maintenance, like changing the inlet filters here, changing the filters inside it. Maybe you are going to change the moleculars inside the pads if we have any kind of errors regarding the oxygen level or in the output air. So this is the working principle, and we are going to talk about it in a different course. We have also the third kind of devices used in home care, which is CPAP devices. CPAP comes from continuous positive airway pressure. We use it with the patient with the sleep apnea. Okay. So the working principle of it: we have a mask. We put the mask on the patient. We put the mask on the patient's face, and this mask will apply a pressure. Okay, a pressure through here. Okay, just to elevate this area, that soft tissues in this area. So we are going to have inlet and outlet for the air through the airways. So this area, if it collapses, so the patient will not be able to breathe. So the working principle: we are going just to put the mask, okay, cover all of this area through this, and this come like a silicone material, or in some cases come filled with air, so it's flexible. Just to take the dimension of nose and jaw, and close all of this area, just to prevent the leak of air. And we are going to apply a pressure just to elevate this area. The applied pressure determined by the doctor. Okay, this is the working principle of CPAP. And of course we have a compressor, and we have also a humidifier, and we have also the breathing circuit and the breathing mask. Maybe this one will be not too comfort with some patient, okay, but the doctor will decide it. We have also the PPAP, which is a pi level positive airway pressure. The same working principle, and for the same reasons like CPAP, but here we have two different pressures. One called inhale pressure and one called exhale pressure. But in this area we have only one pressure applied to the airways, but this CPAP. The BiPAP or bilevel contain continuous or applies two different pressures on the patient's airways, one for inhalation and one for exhalation. Actually, the kind of device and the applied pressure can be only determined by the doctor, okay, by the physician itself. we can do it. We can determine anything or play with these controls without saying anything to the doctor or without knowing of the doctor. Okay. We have also a nebulizers. Nebulizing means we are going to convert a liquid to a gas. We use it just we use a nebulizer to turn a liquid medicine into a mist that can easily inhaled and deliver directly to the patient's lung. Okay, this allows medicine to enter the lungs directly. Nebulizer may be used for people with lung diseases, including asthma. Okay, so this device used just to convert the medication, the liquid medications, into an air, and they will deliver directly to the patient's lungs. We have different kind of nebulizer machine. We have the compressor nebulizer called the jet. We have the mesh nebulizer, and we have the ultrasonic nebulizer. Of course, we have different between them. These tables show you the difference between the different kind of nebulizers. We have the jet, for example. It's very cheap, the cheapest one, and easy to use. We have the ultrasonic, easy to use and more efficient than jet. And we have the mesh also. Mesh is the most efficient nebulization method. But the differences between them, the patient's condition, the disease, the history of treatment, and the molecular size. As you can see here, here we have a mesh nebulizer. We have metal plate here, and it shakes just to convert the liquid to gas. This molecular size is different between the compressor, mesh, and the ultrasonic one. And the kind of device is can be determined also by the doctor itself. We are going to talk about the wound care devices. It's a different type of device. We use the wound care devices. We called it negative pressure wound therapy, NPWT. This device applies suction to wound to promote healing. Okay, to make the healing faster of the wound. Okay, often used for large or chronic wounds or after surgeries. Okay. The system contains some parts, which is the vacuum pumps, the main unit or the device itself. We have the canisters, collect the fluids from the wound. We have the tubing circuit, and we have the dressing or the foam. Okay, let's see them. As you can see, here we have the main unit. Contains LCD displays, contains the flow rate that we can control, contains here we have the container or canister, we have the tubing, and this one can be contacted directly to the mesh. Here we have the mesh, and we have the tubing also, which goes here directly to the container. The working principle, we are going to apply a negative pressure like the vacuum machine you use in your home. The same working principle. A vacuum machine, a vacuum applied to the mesh. We use this mesh or dressing just to protect the wound. Okay, and the fluids or the secretion inside the wound will be moving out through the vacuum, as you can see from the arrows here, and move forward here directly to the device, to the container. And when it reaches, for example, a level, the nurse will clean it. Okay, the working principle, as we said, we have a vacuum here, and the vacuum can be applied on the wound just to make the healing period faster. And after that, we are going to collect all of these fluids or things coming from the wound in this container, and we will throw it away and clean it after that. We can control the flow rate, okay, of the vacuum. Some devices came with 10 liter per minute, some devices came with 15, and some devices came with 20. According to the wound dimension, to the doctor recommendation, and the patient's condition itself. It's very important, for example, with the patient with diabetes who had a surgery. It's very important for them just to make the healing period for the wound as fast as we can. We have the infusion devices. The infusion devices used to deliver a medication or nutritions to the patient. Medications, fluids, blood, nutritions to the patient. We have two different type of these devices. We have the infusion pumps and we have the feeding pumps. The infusion pumps very important for the patient, and the feeding pump is also very important, especially for the pediatric patients. An infusion pump is a medical device that delivers fluids such as nutrients and medications into a patient's body in a controlled amount. Infusion pumps are in widespread use in clinical settings such as hospital, nursing home, and in homes also. We have medications. We have, for example, we have fluids we need to deliver to the patients with a very controlled amount in a very controlled time. So we need this device. Okay, so the most common kind of infusion pumps, which is ALRS. ALRS, we have the main unit, and we have also, we call it the channel. And inside this channel we are going to put the set inside this channel. We are going to control the time, we are going to control the volume, the total volume. The machine to control, sorry, I'm going to make it again. The machine needs some parameters just to control just to control the fluids delivered to the patient. We need to enter the full volume of the bag, we put it here, and we need to enter the volume that we need to deliver through an hour. After that, we are going to start the treatment. So we have the main unit of the device, we have the channel. Sometimes we use one channel, two channels just to deliver two different medications at the same time. In ACUs, maybe you will see 4 channels. Okay, but in home care, 99% of the cases use one channel or 2 channels just to deliver two medications or 2 fluids at the same time. So each device contains of main part. I'm talking about the ALRS right now as a brand. We have the channel and we have a set. This set is different from device to another, from the Chinese to ALRS to anything else. Okay, so we are going to put the device, one end goes to this bag or to the nutrients, to the medications, to the blood, to the fluids, to anything, and this one will go to the patient. So the infusion pump used to deliver medications or fluid in a very controlled amount and in a very controlled time. The feeding pump also used for the same issues, for the same purpose. A feeding pump is a medical device that uses to deliver liquid nutrition or medication to a patient who is unable to eat or drink by mouth. We are going to use this device just to deliver, for example, milk, to deliver nutrients, to deliver sometimes medications to a patient who will not be able, for example, to eat through the mouth, especially for the patient who are critically ill, recovering from surgery, or dealing with the chronic conditions. So this is different from the infusion pump. Infusion pump used to deliver medications, and this one deliver nutrition. Sorry, the most common 2 brands is Frigo and Kangaroo. Okay, we have a special set here for both of them, and we are going to continue and control the flow rate. We are going to continue the volume also. All of these things can be determined by the main unit of this device. Of course, we have differences between the feeding pump and we have the infusion pump. For example, in this table, you can see that the main use of the feeding pump is the nutritional feeding, but infusion pump medications fluid delivery. I think the most important point, which is the precision. For the feeding pump, it's moderate, but for the infusion pump, it's very high. We are talking about milliliters, okay? And for example, we need to deliver 2 or 3 or 5 milliliters of X medication, for example, during 1 hour. The feeding pump cannot handle that, but the infusion pump can do it. The common users for feeding pump, patients with swallowing issues, and for infusion pump, patients require IV therapies. Okay, and this is the most common differences between the feeding pump and the infusion pumps. The last part we are going to talk about in this video, which is tracheostomy care. What the meaning of tracheostomy? Tracheostomy, it is an opening in the neck. You can see from this picture. It's an opening in the neck that allows for direct access to trachea to help with breathing. So we have a patient with a problem in the upper airways, so we need to make a hole to access the trachea as fast as we can. And its proper care is necessary to prevent complications such as infection, blockage, or damage to the tracheostomy site. It's very important to help the patient, but it's very dangerous at the same time, because we need to take care of the tracheostomy area. Okay, so the most common device used to clean the upper airways if the patient had a problem, which is a suction machine. Suction machine is a medical device used to remove fluids, secretions, or mucus from a person's airway, typically in cases where they are unable to clear these substances on their own. As you can see, we have, for example, mucus, we have secretion in the upper airways, so we need to clean them because the patient can't do it, and we need also just to help the patient to breathe. Okay, that's why we are going to make a hole here at this site, and we will use a device called suction machine, and we have suction catheter just to clean this area. The working principle of suction machine, we have a vacuum applied by the machine itself. The working principle for these two devices, for tracheostomy devices or suction machine and the wound care machine, the same. We have a vacuum applied to a specific site just to take the fluids out or take the secretion out from this site to clean it. The working principle is the same, and on the third video we are going to talk about the working principle of all of these devices, whatever the brand is it, and we are going to take a brief about the troubleshooting of the devices and what to do. So the technical part, which is inside the machine, we have the vacuum pump, we have the silencer, we have the pressure gauge, we have the vent valve, and we have also the container or canister, we have the tubing, we have also the bacterial filter, and this is a fluid collected by the machine itself. The suction machine, as you can see, contains for the main unit, and here we can control the pressure or the volume rate, and we have also another brand of the vacuum machine, or the suction machine, as you can see. And by this slide we ended the part 2 of our course. I hope you find those information useful for you, and looking forward to see you on the part 3, which is the last part of this course. We are going to talk about the working principle of those devices, okay, and what to do. If I understand the working principle, I can do the troubleshooting by myself without I'm talking like a home care nurse, without calling the biomedical team or without calling the technical support. We can understand the working principle, so the dealing with those devices would be easier for us. I hope you found this video useful for you, and looking forward to see you on the last part of this course.